was the potential to recognize and use the patterns of wide space and more confined areas. Evidence from brain research is clear and persuasive, just as the middle region of the left cerebral cortex have. Posterior regions of the right cerebral cortex prove most crucial for spatial processing. Interpersonal intelligence builds on a core capacity to notice distinctions among others, in particular, contrast in their moods, temperaments, motivation, and intentions. Educators, salespeople, religious and political leaders, and counselors all need a well-developed interpersonal intelligence. In more advanced forms, this intelligence permits a skilled adult to read the intentions and desires of others, even if they have been hidden. Intrapersonal intelligence, a metacognitive skill, this interpersonal intelligence focuses on self-knowledge, self-regulation, and self-control. This intelligence is more to do with happiness at being on one's own and mostly in touch with one's feelings and emotions. These individuals are more introspective in nature. So, medical education and multiple intelligences. The methods of teaching in medical education are more often traditional lectures, tutorials, and private study. Until recently, the emphasis on medical education continued to be on the physician's biomedical knowledge rather than their ability to relate to patients. Medical education has evolved as a discipline in its own right. Research and professional expertise in teaching practices have taken precedence over mere classroom instruction. Continuous research in the raw materials that the students themselves is now a more urgent need, especially in the wake of a world where children are born in a very visually attractive world. This, in consequence, may deter them if the world of language learning is just black and white or just drab and boring talk and chalk. Differentiated instruction is critical and imperative in today's classroom instruction because each student comes with varied learning needs. It caters to all the different learning styles of students. Although it might not cater to every learning style at every conceivable session, it optimizes the teaching learning process through the constructive alignment of learning activities. Preparation for practice in terms of expertise in content is now supplemented with communication skills, attitudinal and ethical issues, interaction in multicultural environment, teamwork, and evidence-based medicine have become part of the medical curriculum. The hypothesis was a common dominant intelligence is prevalent in a majority of students who have opted for medical and health sciences programs. The sample chosen for this survey consisted of 234 students of first and second years of Medical and Health Sciences University of 2010 and 2012. The age of students ranged from 16 to 21 years, both male and female, but predominantly male. 234 students of the Medical and Health Sciences University for the years 2010-11 and 11-12 were divided in two different samples. The results were separately analyzed for each sample and then merged together to get cumulative results. A cohort of 99 students of 2010-11 taken as a first sample and a cohort of 135 students of 2011 and 2012 taken as a second sample. The data collection process was thus a questionnaire of multiple intelligences with 70 statements with 10 questions under each intelligence domain, requiring the students to score from 1 to 4 being the least and 4 being the highest was administered. 1 mostly disagrees, 2 slightly disagree, 3 slightly agree, 4 mostly agree. It was sent to the students using Google Forms and the responses recorded. The questionnaire is designed in such a way that all the questions must be answered before accepting the submission of the response. The results were collated individually in each intelligence domain and statistically analyzed. The data analysis, after closing the acceptance of the responses, the scores of each intelligence was calculated for each student. Then the average of each intelligence domain calculated based on the program started with MBBS, BDS, BPharm and BSN program, which are presented in figures 1 to 4. Average score in each of the 7 domains of multiple intelligence for 2010-2011. This is the sample. And for average score in each of the 7 domains of multiple intelligence of 2011-12 samples can be found here. From table 3, we can find that the top intelligence domain is interpersonal in both samples. The second intelligence domain is intrapersonal. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence domain came third, and logical intelligence domain fourth. Visual, spatial, musical, and linguistic intelligence domain got fifth, sixth, and seventh respectively. Table 4 shows the average score of each intelligence domain for the MBBS students in each sample in descending order. Examining the table 4 independently, where we have only MBBS students in both samples, we find that the intelligence domain orders differ from the overall order of intelligence. The top intelligence domain is interpersonal in both samples of MBBS students. The second intelligence domain is intrapersonal. Logical intelligence domain comes third. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence fourth. Linguistic, visual, spatial, and musical intelligence domains get 5th, 6th, and 7th respectively. Table 5 shows the average score of each intelligence domain of the BDS students in each sample after ordering them in descending order based on a large sample size. Examining table 5, we have only BDS students in both samples. We find that the intelligence domain orders differ from the overall order of intelligence. The top intelligence domain is interpersonal in both samples of BDS students. The second intelligence domain is intrapersonal. Logical intelligence domain came third. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence domain fourth. Linguistic, visual, spatial, and musical intelligence domain got 5th, 6th, and 7th respectively, which is similar to the MBBS students' intelligence order. Table 6 shows the average score of each intelligence domain for the B.Pharm students in each sample after ordering them in descending order based on a large sample. Examining table 6, where we have only B.Pharm students in both samples, we find that the intelligence domain orders differ from the overall orders of intelligence. The top intelligence domain is interpersonal in both samples of B.Pharm students. The second intelligence domain is intrapersonal. Musical intelligence domain came third. Logical intelligence fourth. Bodily kinesthetic, visual, spatial, and linguistic intelligence got 5th, 6th, and 7th respectively. Table 7 shows the average score of each intelligence domain for the BSN students. Examining table 7, where we have only BSN students in both samples, we find that the intelligence domain orders differ from the overall order of intelligence. The top intelligence domain is interpersonal in both samples of BSN students. The second intelligence domain is musical, visual, spatial intelligence. Domain came third. Bodily kinesthetic fourth. Linguistic, intrapersonal, and logical intelligence domain got 5th, 6th, and 7th respectively. Conclusions. The analysis of the data helps us arrive at the conclusion the interpersonal intelligence is the top common dominant intelligence among medical and health sciences students. The 7th order intelligence domain are musical for both MBBS and BDS, 5th in B.Pharm and 3rd in BSN. Linguistic intelligence domain comes 4th in MBBS, 6th in BDS, and 7th in both B.Pharm and BSN, where logical intelligence domain came 6th in both B.Pharm and BSN. In MBBS, it has come to the 3rd order and 4th in BDS. Looking at bodily kinesthetic intelligence domain, it comes 2nd in B.Pharm and BSN, 3rd in BDS, and 5th in MBBS. Intrapersonal intelligence domain came 2nd for both MBBS and BDS, 3rd in B.Pharm and 5th in BSN. Visual, spatial, musical intelligence domain comes 4th in BSN, 5th in both B.Pharm and BDS, and 6th in MBBS. These results will help us in suggesting the preferred learning style for medical and health sciences students in general, and designing and delivering the courses for each individual program. Also, it will help cope with